For many years, the Netherlands has shown the rest of the world how to live in harmony with the environment.
Many of the provinces in the Netherlands are below sea level, with its lowest lying city being 23 feet under. The Dutch are able to live under these conditions due to an extensive network of levees, dunes, dams, and dikes. Putting this into perspective, one should consider that the lower Ninth Ward of New Orleans is 10 feet below sea level. We all witnessed firsthand the fury that Hurricane Katrina unleashed upon the Ninth Ward. Since Hurricane Katrina destroyed New Orleans, many public officials have said that the lower lying areas of New Orleans should not and cannot be rebuilt, which raises the question, how can the Netherlands protect its coastline at 23 feet below sea level, and America cannot protect New Orleans at 10? This is the greatest country in the world, right? We won't allow ourselves to be outdone by the Dutch, will we? Don't answer that question just yet. Before you answer, let's play a little game. I'm going to show you 3 pictures of levees from around the world, and you must match each levee system with the flag of the country responsible for building them. Time's up. These are the levees built by Great Britain. These are the levees built by the Netherlands. And these levees were built by the United States of America. Now I know what you're thinking. How could this be? This is America. Well, on August 28, 2007, I called the Diane Rehm Show on NPR and asked Tom McQuaid that very question. Tom McQuaid is the author of Path of Destruction, The Devastation of New Orleans and the Coming Age of Superstorms. Yes, it seems that the levee system that exists in the Netherlands is far superior to what exists in New Orleans, and I'm wondering why the Army Corps of Engineers are not investing in a system more equal to what exists in the Netherlands rather than reinvesting in a system that is already proven to be structurally insufficient. Tom McQuaid answered my question by saying, quote, "The Netherlands obviously has built an effective flood control system. Amsterdam is protected against a 1 in 10,000 year flood event, which is much, much better than the 1 in 100 year flood event for New Orleans. So they are technologically very far advanced. But the real difference between the Netherlands and the United States is that there, the institutions are organized differently. Basically, there is a mandate that you have to protect these areas to a certain risk level, and here there is nothing like that. The Corps is part of this very screwed up system where essentially it depends on Congress, which is very pork-driven. The Corps itself has all these competing priorities to build large navigation projects, and flood protection, particularly hurricane protection, has taken a back seat to that. And it also depends on the president. If the president doesn't want to pursue something, then it won't get pursued. So going forward, if you have a presidential administration turnover and the next president wants to pull back from something the previous president was gung-ho on, then that will happen. And as a result, you get this very haphazard system, which has put New Orleans and increasingly other coastal areas at risk. The Corps just started looking at risk-based engineering in New Orleans. Pre-Katrina, they didn't do that, and to the extent they did do it, it was wrong. But there's no broader mandate to look at things in that way. It is still pork-driven by Congress," unquote. After a devastating flood in 1953, the Dutch government declared that such a flood would never happen again, and they began planning and building a system to protect the land from the sea. This system of levees, dunes, dams, and dikes is known as the Delta Works. It is one of the most impressive man-made structures and has been called by many the 8th wonder of the world. I think it is safe to say that the Dutch have outdone us on this one. And if that isn't enough, the Dutch are at it again. I recently learned that 2 architectural firms are building floating houses in the Netherlands. Scientific consensus tells us that climate change is causing rising sea levels that will make it difficult for even the Netherlands' sophisticated delta works to control.
Confronting these challenges, 2 architectural firms in Holland are building floating houses, along with entire communities that will float in the event of a flood.
Chris Zevenbergen of Dura Vermeer Company says, quote, "The whole idea is, in our designs, we should always take into account what will happen in an extreme event," unquote, which is why Dura Vermeer has even designed floating highways. Zevenbergen says, quote, "The concept that in fact you build in an area where a flood may occur is completely new," unquote. No chance of this place flooding. Dura Vermeer is also promoting a nomadic way of living. If you don't like where you live, just move your house downriver and pick a spot that better suits you. Building on this concept of floating houses, Keon Othius is designing floating communities along with floating swimming pools, gardens, and even parking decks. Othius says building floating foundations is easy. It only requires filling a concrete box with plastic foam. Turn the box over and you have a stable platform that's ready to float. With flexible plumbing and electrical equipment, these homes can comfortably ascend with rising waters, and as the waters recedes, the home can easily return to normal. In addition to floating houses, Othius has designs for community living, places of worship, resorts and fabulous getaways, cruise terminals, and this 328-foot rotating tower.
America is far behind many countries in the fight against global warming. In this election season, Americans are looking for a president with bold ideas, someone who understands that if we can send robots to Mars, then surely we can fix our levees and build a few floating houses too. I'm Wendell Stallings. Thank you for listening.